Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Bettina. How are you?
Hi, Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Feel really good. I was out, had a nice lunch with my aunt today, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, we kind of set this up like once a month, and it's always a nice time to, just have nice one-on-one lunch in the middle of the day, and it's so beautiful and warm outside, and just
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful summer weather right now. So I feel good. I feel terrific. How was your week?
It was really good, actually. Big surprise. No. No, it's been really good. Kind of busy. I um, I don't know what I did. Like I look back and I go, I was really lazy today. And then, like, I'll be saying that to Peter. It's like, oh, how was your day? And I go, I think I was really lazy today because I don't think I did anything. Oh, well, I did this. Oh yeah, and then I did this, and then I did this, and I think, okay, maybe I wasn't so lazy after all. So,
Yeah.
um, so that's what I'm saying that because I'm looking back at my weekend, going, what did I do this week that was so busy? Tuesday was a super busy day. Um, I don't know. I find things to keep myself busy. Clearly, um, yeah.
I apologize for putting you on the spot like that.
Oh
I know
no, it's
that
okay.
in our like 5 6 years of knowing each other, it's I know that that's something that you it's a common refrain from you when you talk about that and have that little voice that says, "Oh, I haven't done much," and then you start popping back in your mind what you have done, and you realize, "Wow, it's been quite a week." And I think that's really like you can extrapolate that to like our lives. I think too, because I think a lot of times, actually, this might be this is probably a big topic and one that many shows could be used on, but I think that we all look at our lives with some degree of, if we're being perfectly honest, some like disappointment or some like, this we had all these childhood dreams of what we would do, and then we look back and like, well, have we done a lot of them? And some we may have, absolutely, and some that were really important to us, I'm sure we did. But there's always seemed to be more thoughts about things that we could do than time there is to do them, and that can also be the impetus for suffering in our lives and how we look at ourselves. And I think that that's just part of being human. I think as we look back and thinking of things the roads we haven't taken, or the things that we haven't done because we did something else, or we did nothing. And I think there's a real opportunity there to welcome forgiveness, or just realize that, what, like, even though those things were a goal or an aspiration when I was 17, 29, whatever it was, um, they obviously weren't important enough to do. And it's a way we can look back and really understand that we've done other things that are as important, or the next right thing that was in front of us, and give ourselves a lot of self-compassion and self-forgiveness. Because I think that thought does trip up a lot of us. And I know it certainly did for me, because I felt a lot of anxiety, especially in my early 20s, about stuff that I wasn't doing.
Yeah, I think I I don't know where we were. Oh, we went to Staples. Peter and I went to Staples yesterday to pick up a new shredder, a new toy. Um, and I don't remember what happened. What? Oh, we saw those new fidget spinner things.
Oh yeah, they're all over
And
the place now. Yeah.
I know nothing about them, but I keep seeing them around. And there was some on the rack, and I said, he goes, yeah, I saw some guy driving along with doing that spinner. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how they work or anything. And he goes, I saw someone driving along the road and they were doing it while they were driving. I go, people can't be still anymore. People can't just do one thing. People have to be multitasking all the time. And I said, it's turning into a seven world. And he kind of smiled. And I said, not a healthy seven.
Yeah. you're not
Not a
you're not
healthy
taking
seven.
over.
Yeah. So don't be smiling because, the world is going to be like you. And for anybody who hasn't heard me talk about it probably ad nauseum before, I'm referring to the Enneagram, which is the 9 character types. And the 7 being the enthusiast, or the one that's always on the move, always got plans upon plans upon plans. You've got not only plan A but B and C and D in case plan A doesn't pan out or becomes too boring. So yeah, that was my reference to how the world has become, and that whole idea that, and then I say something like that, and then that that sort of just develops into this whole conversation that he and I have, which we have quite frequently about, not unlike the conversations you and I have here about, the world and how people seem to have come into this place where sitting quietly, sitting back and relaxing, dad coming home from work and putting his slippers on and getting his pipe and sitting back on the chair and having a drink and relaxing after work. It just doesn't happen. And that we feel obliged to fill every moment with something that's an achievement, which then would go to the 3, which is if I'm not achieving things, if I'm not constantly productive, then where is my value? And so then when we have a day where we've just sat back and relaxed and actually done not much of anything, then the guilt seeps in and we start feeling guilty because we didn't do anything today. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't, I wasn't productive. I didn't. But I feel that, no, it's not a feeling. I believe that sitting in the stillness is very, very productive, because that is the place in which you hear the truth, and that is the place in which you see the vision. And if we are constantly in a state of busyness and distraction, we don't see the truth of what's really happening, and we are hiding from the truth. So yeah, I believe that sometimes doing nothing, being in the stillness, resting, relaxing, enjoying the moment is very much a productive thing, and there's nothing to feel guilty about.
Yeah, it's really well said. There's a few things in there that were so critical, and I can definitely vouch for certainly be. I'm not big on it's kind of my outlook about social media. I'm not crazy on it all the time or checking. It's something that I feel like I have good control over. But I definitely have been and have definitely made fun of friends when I've been with them, and it feels like if we haven't done anything Instagram worthy or Snapchat worthy, tonight, then it didn't happen, and there was no, where am I supposed to get my emotional feedback that I did something cool, or where can I tell my brain that I've done something cool, if it's not there for me to post and check tomorrow to see how many people liked it. Liked what I was doing. It's really kind of funny, and yeah, that image of coming home and having that pipe or whatever, not to advocate smoking in the house.
No, of course not.
Like the way
that wasn't my point.
I know it wasn't the point, but actually I just thought about it. And smoking and drinking can also be an escape from anxiety, but to sit back in the chair, relax, and be perfectly fine with not doing anything the rest of the day, it is absolutely everything in moderation, but that's absolutely seems to be a lost art, and not something that we allow ourselves to do enough of. And I really like how you say when you sit in the quiet that that's the place where you see the vision. And I think that's really true. I think that was really, really fantastic phrase, because when we are looking for things that are Instagram worthy to do, or to take pictures of, or to make desserts so that we can show and share them, we do lose sight of why we're doing it and why we're doing things. And sometimes I think a lot of us, I think we're all guilty of it, especially in this society, that we get too busy accomplishing things and not even knowing why we're really doing them. We just feel like this incredible compulsion to go forward. And yeah, these spinners that are all the rage right now, I see them on the side of the street, people selling them and kids using them all over the place. Like it's basically a fidget tool. And I mean, I guess it's better than, loading somebody up with pharmaceuticals, but at the same time, can we ask the question, where's all the anxiety coming from?
Yeah, and I think you're replacing one fix with another.
Yeah.
Drugs, a fidget doohickey thingy jobby, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just another way to not find your center.
That's right.
To not find your center.
It's too uncomfortable.
And anxiety is going to keep rearing its head. No matter how much you fidget or how many drugs you take, it will continue to be there until you accept that this is a part of being a human being. It's not going to go away just because you're fidgeting. At some point, you have to stop. It's like you're not going to be in your bed sleeping at night. I mean, how many people, when they lie down to go to sleep at night, can't fall asleep because that's the point at which everything comes to the surface, the thoughts, the feelings, the anxiety, the the stories running over and over in our head. It's because we haven't taken the conscious time during the day to look at those things. And I really believe that if we did do that, if we took that 10 or 15 minutes every day just to sort of be in the stillness, to listen to the thoughts, to be aware and be conscious about what is going on inside us, we'd all sleep a lot better because we would be doing that self-care on a regular basis. People think that self-care is going to the spa and having a mani-pedi or getting a facial or, treating yourself to an ice cream or whatever it is. But to me, self-care is really looking inside and really paying attention to what's going on so that you can change the patterns and the stories and the ideas that are happening in your head that are causing you the need to go to the spa and the vacation and da-da-da-da. Don't get me wrong, vacations are wonderful. But when on day 5 of a 7-day vacation, you're already starting to stress about going back to work, then, self-care. Where's the self-care? The holiday is not going to do it if you're not really taking care on a deeper level. I really believe that. Yeah. It's just a temporary fix for a deeper problem that's going on, and that's just running from the truth of what's really happening. So,
yeah, it's an expensive fidget doohickey, as you put it.
Fidget doohickey. I don't know what they're fidget spinners. Is that what they're called?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't have a leg to stand on. But
I sound like an old fuddy-duddy right now.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Fuddy-duddy.
Yeah. But
yeah. You're absolutely right, and it was like one of the biggest motivations for me when I first got into this kind of space and reading these books, is because I could see what was like a temporary palliative for my anxiety or for my anger, for my frustration, and I could get over it for a night or a couple of days. For me, it was to play video games ad nauseum, or to play sports, or to use my body on a run or something like that. And it felt good for however long that was, 3 hours, or if it was a video game, maybe 12. But when I finished, it came back. And I could really recognize that in myself, and I could certainly recognize it in others, because I was pretty judgmental of the people around me, but at the time, certainly. And so for me, one of the biggest things for me was to get to the root of it. And I was really motivated to get to the root of it. And that's what I feel is one of my biggest strengths in this whole space, is to get at the generation. Because you're right, like, when you lay down at night and you don't have something to spin with, your mind will spin. It's really just a manifestation of that. And so many people have such trouble sleeping and sleeping right and getting enough of it and being relaxed into it, without taking help, whether it be natural or unnatural, pills or chemicals or something in their diet to calm themselves down. It's really something that we really should endeavor to do from the inside out without the use of aids. And it's really the generation of thoughts. And then I'm really numerically centered, so I really like having examples with numbers. And one of the ones that was really big for me was that we're up. So if you're not, forgive me for 2 minutes, we're up for like 1,000 minutes a day. It's about 16 hours times 60 minutes, and we have a thought about every 3 seconds. So that would be you got about 20,000 thoughts in a day. And how many of those thoughts, if we were to categorize them, if we were able to actually record them like a scientist and say, well, of our 20,000 thoughts, how many are anxious? How many are looking for trouble? How many are when you're on high alert? How many are relaxed? How many are comfortable? How many are in pleasure and how many are in pain? How many are moving towards love and how many is asking for love? If we were to break them all down, and it'd be an incredible task to really categorize all 20,000 of our thoughts. But if you can think of a little pie chart and wonder where these thoughts are, and of course, when we're driving, we need to look for obstacles and we need to look and spot the danger. But so what is an optimal amount of thoughts that are looking for trouble, looking for things that may happen that we should avoid, looking for having preventative thoughts, and how many of them should be looking for opportunities and looking to challenge the course that we're on, and all these things. And for me, that was like, I know it's a very mathematical approach, and that's just the way that it worked for me. But all the books and the knowledge and the lessons that I would go to as I look towards my bookshelf here, and I have like the bottom two-fifths of it are all like math kind of books, and for me, that was a really big motivation to really challenge the thought generation and to find ways that I could affect my own thought generation over the long term. And I'm so glad that I have, because I really feel like my thought generating machine in my head is, generally speaking, my friend. And of course, I'm human, and of course, the ego takes over and will send me spiraling into fear and frustration and anxiety, of course, like anybody. But I don't live like that. I certainly say that's a stark minority of the thoughts that come through me, and I'm so glad that I did the work to affect the thought generation, because I have so many. I mean, I'm sure as you do too, but I look at my peer group and my friends, and so many of them are on pharmaceuticals of one variety or another, stemming from the root tree of anxiety, and it's really unfortunate. And I can grant that I'm lucky, and I can grant a good fortune, but I also feel I should give myself some credit for the work I've done and the work that's available to us all, and the work that we share here on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we have the benefit of the tools and the desire to make those changes. There's lots of people that don't even recognize that there might be a better way to do it. I mean, some people think that that's the way life is, and you just have to live like that, and you just have to do it that way, and they continue on, driving down the road. Oh, that jerk, blah, blah, blah. Somebody cut me off today. Somebody cut me out. Like I was, this is relevant, by the way. I was turning onto a street. I looked, there was no one coming that I could see. I turned onto the street, and then all of a sudden this guy came whooshing up. He or she was driving quite fast, pulled up behind me, scooped around me, cut in front of me, and there wasn't a lot of space between me and the person ahead of me, cut in front of me, and then right back into the other lane again. I was like, were you trying to tell me something? If you were, I don't get the message. like that doesn't tell me anything. That tells me you're driving a little erratically, but other than that, I refuse to make up a story about what this guy is doing. And I was like, I don't believe I cut you off, if that's what you think. I started to go there. I do admit that. I started to go there. And then all of a sudden I remembered, oh yeah, this is what I do now. Like, I don't do that anymore. This is what I do now. I see the loving presence in you. Maybe you were in a hurry. Maybe you need to go somewhere. Maybe you weren't feeling well and you need to get home. Maybe you were going to pick up your child at school and you were late. I don't know what it is, but I see the loving presence in you, and I carried on. And I never had another thought about it until now, because it seemed so relevant. But that's the thing. I mean, you can go to that place, and believe me, I have been to that place many, many times in my 60 years of, oh, you jerk, and you're cutting me off, and who do you think do anything to you, and da 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 da, and who feels miserable? That guy has no idea what's going on. I feel miserable because now I have created this idea of being attacked.
Yeah.
And I was not being attacked. Again, call for love, people. It was a call for love. And so I am going to answer now with, I see the loving presence in you. That's my expression of love. But we get stuck in that thing of, that's just what people do. It's just you bitch and moan and complain about this, that, and the other thing. And you always see everything as an attack against you personally. And I mean, if anybody has ever read the 4 agreements, one of them is don't take things personally. And it's, to me, a cardinal rule. It's like, it's never about you. It's only about you if you are feeling distress. Then it's about you, and you need to look at that. But you can't blame someone else, and you can't create attack where there is none. And this is what I mean about seeing the truth. Is the truth is not in the crazy monkey mind that you're trying to distract. The truth is in sitting with the monkey mind until you can learn to watch the monkey mind and not get involved, and then step deeper into that voice, that inner voice of truth that says, it's just a call for love, and be that expression of love. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting how many times we will default to, I'm being attacked here. This is about me. This is them treating me badly and doing me wrong, and I must get vengeance for that in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Which creates anger, and anger comes from fear, which is really just a call for love.
Yeah. And I think, like, in a very large way, we can watch that, and that's what frustrates a lot of people about Donald Trump is that they see that in overdrive, is that this idea of always being attacked. He always feels attacked. And yeah, it comes from fear, and it comes from probably, I want to be loved. And I don't feel like I get enough of it. And you can even see him gripe about that in some of his interviews about how he doesn't get enough credit. It's really on display. It's really quite fascinating to watch, beyond the grave consequences that it could hold for all of us. It is fascinating to watch. And I love what you said there, because that is absolutely, like, that's been one of my best tools. And I feel like we always reveal a tool on the show, or a few, where it's like, oh my God, that's been so useful in my life. And when when he cuts you off, or she, and then aggressively goes back into the other lane, is like, was this a message? Was I going too slow? Like, did you think I was, delaying you? Did I do something wrong? At first, and then you're like, then from there, you're like, I don't think I was, like, F you.
Yeah.
You go to that, and then it's like, I refuse to make up a story about this. That is so critical. That's so, so, so critical. I refuse to make up a story about this, and I'm just going to live the way that I want to live. I'm not going to change my internal world for this upset person, or for this person who wants to judge me on something using their own valuations, not even the ones that I use for myself. Absolutely not. I'm going to set, it's like a thermostat, right? In your house, you set your internal thermostat for whatever it is that you want to feel, whatever experience you want to have, how you want your environment to feel, and you're in charge of it. Don't let somebody else come and, like, I remember I used to get, my dad, he's the one who has to pay for the heat and the air conditioning. And, if I wanted to touch that air conditioning or the heat in the house, I always wanted a couple of degrees warmer, a couple of degrees colder, because, I wasn't paying for it. And he would be pretty upset. And, if I would go and touch the thermostat, and it should be no different. No, we have our thermostat inside of us for how we want to feel and how we want to live. And where we want to come from in our interactions with people. And don't let somebody else come and change your thermostat. Don't make them make you hot under the collar, or, yeah, or turn you cold in case, like, in cases where, this person doesn't deserve my love. It's funny how it works that way. You can go hot and cold. Don't let somebody touch that. You set that where you want it, and don't allow another driver, another person, another circumstance, something going on in the world to change your thermostat.
Yeah.
No, it's mine.
And the thing is, like, even just saying that, and I'm in my car by myself, and I actually say it out loud. I see the loving presence in you. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't fully, full on believe it, I still could feel the shift in me and starting to feel better rather than worse. I mean, it's that old thing. You shoot yourself in the foot and wait for someone else to feel the pain. That's exactly
Yeah.
what you're doing when you start to create those stories about other people. You have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea what their childhood was like. I mean, you look at Donald Trump. He is, inside him is a small child that doesn't feel good enough. And everything he says and does comes from that small child who doesn't feel good enough. And it doesn't make, the state of the union any better, but it certainly does help you to understand that he's no different than any other one of us. It's just that he's got a position of power, and he is running. It's being, that position is actually being held by a hurt and a hurt 5-year-old with low self-worth.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's it. And I can have compassion for that. On the other side of things, politics is politics, and I don't want to go into that, but there's the whole welfare of a whole country at stake here, as well as their relationships with other countries. I get that, but when you come down to the bare facts, it's a 5-year-old, a hurt 5-year-old running the country.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to like I even see the hesitation in you. It's like, well, I don't really want to say this about the person,
Yeah.
but it's a hilarious and gravely observable. And I think that we can all. I mean, it's a great example, really. I mean, we all know people like this, and we all know the parts of ourselves that's like that. We very much carry forward the wounded child in us, and it plays out in our habitual behaviors in so many ways. There's so many things that we carry forward and we don't do, or we must do, because of the wounded child that we're bringing forward in us, and because of things that haven't been resolved, and things that we don't feel have been resolved to the level where we would like them, and we feel like we can't. We feel like our hands are tied to ever fix it, and so we just continually act in the same, sometimes small, sometimes big behaviors that represent that aspect of ourselves that hasn't healed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's that, we have a temper tantrum and whatever else goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's just part of human nature. Part of human nature. And I mean, I watch them and I get frustrated just like everybody else. And I haven't exactly gotten to the point where I can say, I see the loving presence in you, Donald, but I can't. But I'm hoping that I will one day. See, I'm still a work in progress,
Yeah.
Just because that guy cut me off and I was like, I can see the loving presence in you, doesn't mean that I can do it all the time. But you can't be in two places at one time. So when I'm in the place of I can't see the loving presence in Donald Trump, then I am not seeing the loving presence in me. That much is true.
Yeah.
So I'm full on in ego if I can't see the loving presence in everyone. I can't, you can't say, well, I see the loving presence in you because you're being nice to me, but that guy over there, I can't see the loving presence, and I refuse to see the loving presence in him because he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, people. It's not how it works. It's all or nothing. If you want to be in that place, if you want to have that freedom, if you want to feel that joy, that happiness, that love, that peace that you are searching for, it's all or nothing. You're all in or you're all out. And in the course of a day, when you're on this, you're traveling this path and you're learning how to be more in that living presence, during the course of the day, you'll be in and out at various times. But the goal is to be more in than out, and to recognize we are all the same. We're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've said this phrase before, and I just want to get it slightly wrong. We're all just here to walk each other home.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's from
Yeah.
Ram Dass, actually, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, his other one, which I like, is when we see someone else, just think of that you're looking at God in drag. In other words, you're looking at this other person and they are just God representing to you, can you love me like this? In
Yeah.
all my icky, stupid, ridiculous, angry, fearful ways, can you love me like this? And that guy over there, can you love me like this? And that person over there, can you love me like this? It's just God. Everybody is just part of God going around saying, can you love me like this? No? Oh, well, maybe you need to maybe have some work to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's really well put. Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And yeah, when we can get to those places where we can look at that person and however they represent something that triggers upset inside of us, and we can look at them and see past it. Those are the moments, that you're connected. You're connected to source. You're connected to God. You are, you're being a good Christian or whatever you want to, however, whatever words you want to use around it. It's all pointing at the same thing. It's just, those are just words within concepts that might have their own uh, attachments, but they're just words pointing at the same concept that, you are love expressed, that you see the godliness not only in yourself, in your environment, and in the other. And that feels a lot better than cursing out the guy who cut you off, or the Republican who has different views than you, or the liberal, or the Muslim, or the whatever. Um, it feels so much better just to feel, and it's amazing how that will affect your environment. That affects your environment both on a micro level and a macro level. Given enough time.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we've got our whole half hour. I think that's like the fastest the show's gone by for me. But if you
Oh, must have been
finish
good.
this off, yeah, exactly. Well, you talk about Trump, right, and then just time stops.
It's like a whole time warp happening.
Yeah, yeah. But if you would send this off into our day, Bettina, with a meditation, I think that'd be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath in. Breathe fully and slowly into the core of your being and feel the essence of who you are. Beyond the stories, beyond the thoughts, beyond the monkey mind. Put down the distractions and sit in the silence of truth, the stillness where everything becomes clear and focused, where we feel a sense of peace and joy, and where the sense of being is far more important than the sense of doing. Because when we come from the place of being, everything we do is done through the perspective of loving presence. And as we stand in that wonderful glow of loving presence, take that little 5-year-old inside and hold them close and let them know that they are loved, and let them know that they deserve nothing but to be loved and cherished and valued, and that everything they do has meaning, and everything that they think and feel deserves the space to be thought and felt, and that their birthright is to feel love. And as you hold them close to you, recognize the times when this child is calling out for love, and the number of times that you aren't hearing because of your distraction. And try to be more aware of the call for love so that you can be the expression of love for this child. And through that relationship, you can be the expression of love to others as you go through your life and your day. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes and bring yourself back to the world.
Thank you, Bettina.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you all again next week.
Have a great week, everyone.